So good morning to one and all. So in our earlier topic, we have been not concluded the topic, that is engine cooling system. So coming to the topic, we are having total 3 types of cooling system. So one is air cooled and another one is liquid cooled. So what is the need for the coolant? Why we are using cooling system? So the cooling system maybe converts the thermal energy to mechanical energy with high temperature produced by the cylinder as a result of this is the combustion process. So already we know that one. So coming to the cooling system, it may prevent the damage to the vital parts of the engine, but the temperature of these components must be maintained within certain limits in order to obtain maximum performance from the engine. Hence, a cooling system is needed to keep the engine from not getting so hot as to cause problems and yet to permit it to run hot enough to ensure maximum efficiency of the engine. So the duty of the cooling system, in other words, the duty of the cooling system, in other words. So just wait a minute. The duty of just okay, right? So today our topic is engine cooling system. So coming to the topic. సో ఇంటర్నెట్ ప్రాబ్లం వలన టోటల్గా బ్యాక్ వెళ్ళి మళ్ళీ లోపలికి రావడం అవుతుంది. సో దట్స్ ద ప్రాబ్లం. సో రైట్. సో కమింగ్ టు ద టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ కూలింగ్ సిస్టమ్. సో టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ కూలింగ్ సిస్టమ్స్ వచ్చేప్పటికి మనకి ఎయిర్ కూలింగ్ సిస్టమ్, లిక్విడ్ కూలింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఆర్ ద మెయిన్ థింగ్స్. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద మెయిన్ ఫంక్షన్స్ or what are the characteristics of the efficient cooling system? All these are shared in our screen. So it should be capable of removing about 30% of heat generated in the combustion chamber while maintain the optimum temperature of the engine under all operating conditions of the engine. That means, simple language, in a single line, I want to say this is, it removes the excess heat from the engine, right? It removes the excess heat from the engine. Next, so it should be remove heat at a faster rate when engine is hot. However, during starting of the engine, the cooling should be minimum so that the working parts of the engine reach their operating temperature in short time. So here you have to observe in a single line, maintaining a constant engine operating temperature. Right, maintaining a constant. In a single word, the second point of the characteristics of the cooling system, I want to say this is maintaining a constant engine operating temperature. So that is the second characteristic. So coming to the third one, I want to say with my own language, that is it increases the temperature of a cold engine as quickly as possible. So that is the third one, and it provides a means for a heater operation also. So that means warming the passenger compartment, right? So that is one of the characteristics of the cooling system. So coming to this is the air cooling and liquid coolant system. So in this air cooling, first thing is liquid cooling system. So liquid cooling system means nearly all the multi-cylinder engines used in automotive construction and material handling equipment use a liquid cooled system. Therefore, any liquid used in the system is called a coolant. We will call it as a coolant. So a semi-liquid coolant, liquid cooled system consists of a radiator, ఏమేమి ఉంటాయి అందులో రేడియేటర్, కూలెంట్ పంప్, piping, fan, thermostat, and a system of water jackets and passages in the cylinder head and block through which the coolant circulates. So some vehicles are equipped with a coolant distribution tube inside the cooling passages that directs additional coolant to the points where temperatures are highest. So cooling of the engine parts is accomplished by keeping the coolant circulating and in contact with the metal surfaces to be cooled. Therefore, the liquid cooled system is having a coolant from the bottom of the radiator. So that is happening in our liquid coolant system, and forcing the coolant through the water jackets and passages. So it ejects into upper radiator tank. So this is the thing happening in our liquid coolant system. So therefore, the heat may be transferred to the cylinder walls and other parts may by convection and conduction. So here we are having the indirect cooling system. So water cooling may be carried out by any of the following 5 methods. So here we are having total 5 methods. One is a direct or non-return system, and the second one is thermosiphon, and third one is forced circulation cooling system, and fourth one is evaporative cooling system, and fifth one is pressure cooling system, right? So direct or non-return system. So this is the first one. So this system is useful for large installations where plenty of water is available, in the non-return system, right? So the water from the storage tank, is directly supplied through the inlet valve, to the engine coolant jacket. Already we have been explained this one. So right. So this is the thermosiphon system. So in the thermosiphon system, the basic principle of thermosiphon system can be explained with respect to the diagram. You can observe here. Here the heat is supplied to the fluid in the tank A and of the relative lower density. So the hot fluid travel up. Its place is being taken by comparatively cold fluid from the tank B through pipe 2. So this is the principle of thermosiphon system. So coming to the point, the hot fluid flow through the pipe 1 to the tank B where it is get cooled. Thus the fluid circulates through the system in the form of convective current. For engine application, the tank represents the cylinder jacket, while tank B represents a radiator, and the water act as the circulating fluid. So the main advantage of this system is its simplicity and automatic circulating of the cooling water. So coming to the forced circulating cooling system, this system is used in a large number of automobiles like cars, buses, and even heavy trucks. Therefore, here flow of water from radiators to water jackets is by convection assisted by the pump. So here you can observe this one is the principle of forced circulation cooling system using thermostat. So this is the main principle. So the water or coolant circulated through the jacket around the part of engine to be cooled and is kept in motion by a centrifugal pump which is driven by the engine. The water is passed through the radiator where it is cooled by the air drawn through the radiator by a fan. Same as మనము ఇంతకు ముందు ఎలా అయితే ఫాలో అయ్యామో దీనికి కూడా అలాగే ఉంటుందమ్మా, by fan and the aircraft to the forward motion of the vehicle. So therefore a thermostat is used to control the water temperature required for cooling. It consists mainly 4 components: radiator, fan, water pump and a thermostat. So this is the thing, evaporative cooling system. So this is the evaporative cooling system. So this is the cooling of an automotive vehicle, the total cooling of an automotive vehicle. So this is the actual diagram. So right, so here you can observe upper hose, thermostat, pressure cap, fan, water pump, radiator, lower case, transmission cooling lines. So right, so evaporative cooling system. So this is predominantly used in stationary engine. So in this engine will be cooled because of the evaporation. So therefore the water in the cylinder jackets into the steam. Here the advantage is taken from the high latent heat of vaporizing of the water by allowing evaporating in the cylinder jackets. If the steam is formed at a pressure above atmospheric, the temperature will be above the normal permissible temperature, So this is happening in our evaporative. So this is the line diagram of the evaporative cooling with air cooled condenser. You can observe B, C, D, G, E. So this is all the points we have to note it down. A, B, C, D, E, total 6 points. A means pump, whereas B is the tank and C is the tank upper portion, and D is the radiator tube, and E is the ABCD. E is the lower tank, where F is the small pump and G is the vertical pipe. So this is the points you have to make a note for this evaporative cooling. All of you just if it's possible note it down, right? So totally we are having 6 points. A is, all of you just note it down if it is possible, if you are in a possible condition, right? So we are having total 6 points. So in this evaporative cooling with air cooled condenser, so the case water is circulated by the pump A and when delivered to the overhead tank B, which it brings it into boiled point. So the tank has portion C. So here it will vaporize the liquid which it may be boiled in boiling condition, and because of the condensing action of the radiator tube D, and condensate flow into the lower tank E, from which it is picked up and returned to the tank B by the small pump F. So the vertical pipe G in the communication with the outside atmosphere to prevent the collapsing of the tank B and E when the pressure inside them due to condensation fall below the atmosphere. So this is the thing happening in our evaporative cooling. So coming to the pressure cooling system. In the pressure cooling system, moderate pressure, say up to 2 bar are commonly used. So and is fitted with with 2 valves which are loaded by a compression spring and vacuum valve. So when the coolant is cold, both valves are shut, but as the engine warm up, the coolant temperature rises until it reaches a certain preset value corresponding to the desired pressure. So when the safety valve opens, But if the coolant temperature falls during the engine operation, the valve will close. Therefore, the valve will close against the temperature rises to equivalent pressure value. When the engine is switched off and the coolant cool down, vacuum being to form in the cooling system. But when the internal pressure falls below atmosphere, the vacuum valve is opened by the higher outside pressure and the cooling system then attains atmospheric pressure. So that is about the pressure cooling system. So this is the air cooling system. So this is the cooling fins. You can observe the total cooling fins on our screen. Just observe it. So in the air cooled system, a current of air is made to flow past the outside of the cylinder barrel, outer surface area of which has been considerably increased by providing cooling fins. So as shown in here. So these are the cooling fins. So this method will increase the rate of cooling. So this method is mainly applicable to the engine in the motorcycles, small cars, airplanes, and combat tanks, where motion of the vehicle gives a good velocity to cool the engine. So the value of the heat transfer coefficient between metal and air is appreciably low. As a result of this, the cylinder wall temperature of the air-cooled cylinder are considerably higher than those of water-cooled type has been noted. So right, so this is the comparison of liquid and air cooling system. So this is the comparison of liquid and air cooling system. Even though we are having so many comparison statements, so many advantages and so many disadvantages, what are the main purpose of the lubrication system? It reduces the friction and wear between moving parts and helps transfer heat and cool engine parts, and cleans the inside cleans the inside of the engine by removing contaminants, absorbs shocks between moving parts to quiet engine operation and increase engine life. So the properties of the engine and the design of modern engines allow the lubrication system to accomplish all these functions. So already we have been discussed the splash system, force system. So all these things we are discussed in our earlier classes. So coming to the comparison between air cooled and the water cooled. So in the view of widespread of using these two alternative cooling systems for petrol as well as this one, petrol and the diesel, it is of interest to summarize the respective advantage and limitations. So first one is compact design with appreciably smaller frontal area is possible, and right, okay, carry on. Right, next thing is the fuel consumption of high compression liquid cooled engine is rather lower than for the cooled ones. And the third one is cooling of the cylinder barrel, and due to jacketing makes it possible to reduce the cylinder head and valve seat temperature. And fourth one is in case of water cooled engines, installation is not necessarily at the front of the mobile vehicle, aircraft, etc., as the cooling system can be conveniently located wherever required. So it is not possible in case of air cooled system. So and next one is the size of the engine does not involve serious problem as far as the design of the cooling system is concerned. In case of air cooled engines, particularly in high horsepower, range difficulty is encountered in the circulation of prerequisite quantity of air. So coming to the disadvantage, so on screen we have been shared so many disadvantages, 5 up to 5 points. So it is dependent system in which water circulation in the jackets is to be ensured by additional. And the second one is power absorbed by the pump for water circulation is considerable, and this affects the power output of the engine. And coming to the third point, in the event of failure of the cooling system, serious damage may be caused to the engine. Fourth one is cost of the system is considerably high. And fifth one is system requires considerable maintenance of the various parts. So these are all the advantages and limitations. So already we know why we what is cooling system, what are the different types of coolants, why we are using, how many types of cooling systems we are used, what is air cooling system, what is water cooling system. All these things has been discussed up to right now. So I want to say this is what is governor we are having in the cooling systems. We are having the governing process also. So thermostat, water pump. What is the main purpose of the water pump? We are using a centrifugal pump, for example. It draws the cooled water from bottom to bottom of the radiator and it delivers it to the water jacket surrounding the engine. So this is the main thing we have to identify using a water pump. What about the thermostat valve? It will controls the cooling system. That means it will controls the flow of water when activated by a temperature signal. This is happening in the thermostat valve. So what about the fan? Fan means it is mounted on the water pump shaft and it is driven by the same belt that drives the pump and the dynamo. So the purpose of the radiator, is to provide a strong draft or of air through the radiator to improve engine cooling. So that is the main purpose of the fan. Coming to the governor, we are having so many types of governors. So what is the main purpose of the governor we are using in the cooling system? Before knowing the advantages and limitations of the air cooling system, simply I want to say one more time, the air cooling. What is the air cooling system? Air cooling system or the air cooled engines are those in which heat is conducted from the working components of the engine to the atmosphere directly. So this is the main thing we have to observe in our air cooling system. So in this on screen, we have been shared so many advantages and disadvantages. But even though I want to say one more time, the principle of air cooling, the cylinder of the air cooled engine has fins to increase the area of the contact of air for speedy cooling. So that is the first principle. So the cylinder is normally in a closed and in a sheet metal casing and called what మొత్తాన్ని closed గా ఉన్నదాన్ని మనం ఏమంటాం అంటే కౌలింగ్ అంటాం. కౌలింగ్, COWLING, అలా క్లోజ్డ్ గా షీట్ మెటల్ తోటి కనుక మనం ఫిల్ చేసి ఉంచితే దాన్ని మనం from its face that it is around the finned cylinder. For maintenance of air-cooled system, passage of air is kept clean by removing grasses, etc. by a stiff brush of compressed air. So this is the main principle. And coming to the advantages, in a simple dialogue, I want to say total 4 main advantages in this one. First thing is, it is simple in design and construction. It is simple in design and construction. So that is the main thing. So here it may be just listed as just like a paragraph, but I want to say within a simple language, it is simple in design and construction. And coming to the second point, it is more compact. It is more compact. And third one is light in weight. And fourth one is water jackets, radiators, water pump, thermostat, pipes, hoses. These are all not required for the air cooling system. Then where it required all these things, What are those? Water jackets, radiators, water pump, thermostat, all these things may be required in our liquid cooling system only, right? So we are having so many disadvantages, but I want to say the main disadvantages for this air cooling system is there is uneven cooling of the engine parts. There is uneven cooling of the engine parts. So that is the main disadvantages we are having in our system. So second one is engine temperature. Engine temperature is high during working speed. Engine temperature is high during working speed. So that is the second important disadvantage we are facing in our air cooled system, right? So these are the limitations. Some more limitations are there here. Cooling is not uniform and engine temperature is generally high during working speed. So it will produce aerodynamic noise. So it can be applied only to small to medium sized engines in places where ambient temperature or lower and produce more aerodynamic noise, and specific fuel consumption is slightly lighter, lower maximum allowable compression ratios, and the fan if used absorbs as much as 5% of the power developed by the engine. So these are the limitations of the air cooled system. But what about the advantages? Sorry. What about the governing? We are having governing. What is the governor? But I didn't have any slide for this one. For forced cooling system, we are having total 3 types: air cooled, water cooled, and forced circulation cooling system also. Even water cooled is nothing but a forced circulation cooling system. So here you can observe, just I want రెండే చెప్పానమ్మా మీకు నేను ఆన్ స్క్రీన్ మీద షేర్ చేసింది ఎయిర్ కూల్డ్ అండ్ వాటర్ కూల్డ్ అన్నాను. సో ఎయిర్ కూల్డ్ ఆర్ డైరెక్ట్ కూలింగ్ సిస్టమ్, అండ్ నెక్స్ట్ లిక్విడ్ ఆర్ ఇండైరెక్ట్ కూలింగ్ సిస్టమ్. ఇండైరెక్ట్ కూలింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఫోర్స్డ్ సర్క్యులేషన్ కూలింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ని కూడా మనం ఇండైరెక్ట్ కింద చెప్పుకుంటాము ఆర్ లిక్విడ్ కింద చెప్పుకుంటాం. సో దీనిలో మనకి ఏంటంటే వీఆర్ హ్యావింగ్, ఇందాక చెప్పాను కదా, ఎయిర్ కూలింగ్ సిస్టమ్ లో వచ్చేపాటికి కొన్ని పార్ట్స్ మనకు అవసరం లేదు. ఏంటివి ఇవన్నీ కూడాను అంటే వాటర్ పంప్స్, రేడియేటర్, ఫ్యాన్, వాటర్ జాకెట్, థర్మోస్టాట్, హౌస్ పైప్స్, ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఏం అవసరం ఉండదు. మరి ఎక్కడ అవసరం అవుతాయి ఇవన్నీ కూడా అంటే లిక్విడ్ స్టేట్ లోనే అవసరం అవుతాయి. సో ఆ లిక్విడ్ స్టేట్ లో కూడా మీకేంటంటే గవర్నర్ అన్న ఒక డివైస్ అనేది, మెకానికల్ డివైస్ అనేది యూజ్ చేస్తాం. ఎందుకు అంటే ఇట్ విల్ కంట్రోల్స్ ద స్పీడ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఇంజిన్. ద గవర్నర్ ఇస్ అ మెకానికల్ డివైస్. ఇట్ ఈస్ డిజైన్డ్ టు కంట్రోల్ ద స్పీడ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఇంజిన్ under some variation in speed. That means it is observed at full load and no load conditions. ఎట్లయినా సరే దానికి ఆ కాన్స్టెంట్ స్పీడ్ అనేది మెయింటైన్ చేస్తుందమ్మా. సో రైట్. సో విత్ ఎ స్పెసిఫైడ్ లిమిట్ అండ్ used an ట్రాక్టర్ అండ్ స్టేషనరీ ఇంజిన్స్. సో మీరు ఇది జస్ట్ అబ్జర్వ్ ఇట్, రైట్. సో దీనిలో మీకు ఏంటంటే మెయింటైనింగ్ ఏ నియర్లీ కాన్స్టెంట్ స్పీడ్ ఇంజిన్ అండర్ డిఫరెంట్ లోడ్ కండిషన్స్, and it will protect the engine and attached equipment against high speeds where the load is removed or reduced. So here we have to know it is how many types of governor. We are having total 3 types. So type 1 is centrifugal, type 2 is pneumatic, and type 3 is hydraulic. Whatever is centrifugal, pneumatic, hydraulic, whatever we are the content we are using, whatever the media we are using, the governor is a mechanical device designed to control the speed of the engine within a specified limit, and that means nearly constant speed of the engine with different loading conditions. So that is the main thing. So some variation in speed is observed at a full load and no load conditions. So in normal working, variation of about 100 revolution per minute is observed between full load and no load conditions for a good governor. Hence, there must be a possibility to regulate the governor to maintain a higher or lower speed by changing the tension of the spring. So the extension of the regulation done, and it may be expressed in terms of percentage also, percentage regulation. So here the percentage may be expressed as speed drop. This is also called as speed drop. So it is variation in the engine speed between full load and no load condition. Usually it is usually expressed as percentage. That means rated speed and kuda antamu manamu. So it may be having certain problem. So that means R means regulation N1 minus N2 by N1 plus N2 into 2. So it will get the total pressure drop, the speed drop. So governor means it is designed to contribute to control the speed of the engine. Mainly the governor is to control the speed of the engine with a specified limit under different loading conditions. So this is the cooling system components and properties of the lubricants. So idigondi flash lubrication system, pressure speed, wet, dry, ivanni kudanu in our earlier classes we have been discussed. So right now our lubrication and cooling system topic has been concluded. In our next class we will go for a new topic. Thank you.